Hello. I would like to make a video to talk about just reviewing my notebooks, and I just fell into that section of all the research that I've done on the Bible and all the stuff. There's so many things, and where does the Bible come from? Where's the Old Testament coming from? We think that, as Jehovah's Witness, you think that, oh, well, everything that is in the Bible is true and it's written by Moses and from around 2000 BC, and it's telling the story about the origin of the God's people, and it's the same God today that the Jehovah's Witnesses have. However, when you go and actually look into archaeology and what the scholars are saying, it's that Israel was a Canaanite tribe, Canaanite people, and they had the Canaanite religion, which meant to have animal sacrifices and had polytheistic gods, and El was one of the main gods, probably like God the Father type of thing. Is El, and Israel is coming from the name that Isra means in Hebrew. It means to struggle with, and El is a god. It's the main god. So that's the origin is with Jacob, with the when he was fighting against Genesis. I don't have the exact Bible verse, but there is a verse that is struggling. Jacob is struggling with the God, and so it means persisting an ongoing effort, Israel. But this is a common thing that many people do. They copy the mythology of other peoples. The Romans did that with the Greeks. They took the story of the Iliad, for example, and they took Odysseus' journey home, and they changed the name to Jason later on, many hundred years later. So there's elements that are still the same as the original story, but new elements, and things turn out a little bit differently, and it's not the same character because it's not the same nationality, and so this is an origin story. The Israelites were trying to differentiate themselves with the other Canaanites, and so they invented basically the whole genocide stories and the wars where God was on his Yahweh was on their side, and so it was in the Bible was written when the Jerusalem was attacked by Babylonians in almost 600 BC, and not 607, but before that, 50 something, and so they were under Babylonians, and then they started one of the king of Judah started to ordered to kill all the polytheistic people, everything that's not worshiping Yahweh, so all the other gods, so Baal, for example, because Baal was part of the pantheon of the Canaan religion. Baal was the son of El, and the wife of Yahweh, Asherah. So they just made it one God, and they just killed everybody that was not agreeing with that. So, and then they took the myths of other people, Egyptian myths, Babylonian myths, and then they just changed the names of the heroes. The Epic of Gilgamesh, for example, was earlier written story of the flood. You can see the very similar things in the Bible and the Epic of Gilgamesh, where you can see that, oh well, the Bible is written after, so they're the ones who copied. But they changed the name to make it Noah, and they changed the whole story about the Exodus, the slaves to Egypt, the miracles, the Ten Commandments, all of those things that never happened, because these are all myths, and they are inspired by other people's myths, but they just change the names, and they are make it to make it a very official thing in the Bible. Uh, they did that around 500 BC, so much later than what they claim. The Bible was not in the beginning of humanity. The humans started to settle down in cities around 8000 BC, and they started agriculture and cities around 8000. So much later that the Bible was written. So there were many other written texts that would talk about these victories, these great victories, and even there's an Egyptian text that said that the Creator God formed the humans out of clay, and breath entered their nostrils. So it's a very similar. They just copied it, uh, and they all say that all these great miracles happen, and supernatural interventions. But this is the reason is to justify their position as a ruler, and say that this is my place in the world. These were my ancestors. We're connected to the true God. We're connected to uh, supernatural, all powerful, and we have a long story of vanquishing very hard things that were impossible, and we've done it all. We've overcome all the challenges that we had to face. So there's something special about us. So there.